Hey, welcome back to the table. We're getting ready to start mission 4. So let's get cracking. See what map we get. I rolled a 5. We're going to get map 2. So let's get map 2 out again. And put this one away. This was definitely an interesting one. It is different than Skies Above the Reich, but not by much. This one has some interesting, challenges of coming in high, and then the groups are far enough apart that there are certain spots where you can't reduce the threat level. Lethality. It's called lethality officially, but I always say threat because I always forget the word lethal. All I have to say is that when we start playing with these maps, that's when the game gets really interesting and challenging. And we haven't even gotten to them yet. I've spent a lot of hours recording just to get there. Okay, map level 2 is, remember we were whining because we had map 2. Like we always wanted the first map in the 1942. But we want the second map now, and the reason we want the second map now is because that's the only way you can drop your bombs. You can't drop bombs on a map 1. So, and then this map is it's really nice from the perspective that, like the other one, you had like the bomber groups were just all in a row like this. With this one, there's a lot of interactions, but it's still 4 elements, just like the other one, but they're more in a scatter formation. And in the middle here, there's a lot of crossfire support, but this middle crumbles whenever you start to take out certain elements. And anyways, this part is where the game is fascinating. Like the fact that he put these little lethality levels and thought through all the different angles. The closest thing that comes to this is the dots on the D-Day games, where you got the little firing dots that show you, okay, this if your guy is here, you can get hit from this nest or that nest. I don't know why, but I really love games that think through that kind of stuff and have visual cues that are so intuitive. And that's what this game and D-Day Omaha Beach does. They're so intuitive. And yes, I'm sure it was a lot of work for them to figure this out, but it just, once you see it and experience it, it's like, man, it's just a fun game. And it also spares us from having to go through all the mental agility of calculating it all the time. All right. So I want to see if Barr gets out of jail. He does not. So we still have a guy in jail. And of course he's not in jail. He's wounded, but he's our expert pilot. We're not going to screw around with him. We need him to come back, so we're definitely not replacing him. And here we go. So, do we want to make a move? We only need 2 victory points to get out of this situation. We only need to win 4. We're on track to win this one. So even if we just win 1 at a time, 1, 2, 3, 4, we still have 2 more seasons we can completely botch before it's over. I don't think we need to be in a rush, to be quite honest, other than, maybe I want to go play a computer game instead of doing recordings. So, there's no reason to try to get a double victory here other than for bragging rights. So I could spend EP to ensure that we're inbound, but I'm okay. We're sitting at that 20 plus EP situation. So if I need to do an aggressive move, I can. I think what I want to do right now is I just want to keep accumulating the EPs. And so I'm just going to let the dice gods go wherever they want to go. And I rolled a 5. So we're outbound. And I'm just going to write down off map here. So outbound just means we're getting... the beauty of outbound is we're going to get the most OP of all the options. And I rolled a 1. Now this is bad because outbound means we only get 8. And I'm going to lose 2. So I'm only going to get 6 for the mission. That's really, really low. If I want to drop some bombs on this map, I would have to spend points right now. Otherwise, I'm basically just calling this a wash. You know what? I'm going to call it a wash. I'm just going to go ahead and take my 8. And then let's keep rolling. Nope, we got to spend our 8 right now. So what are we going to do? We have 8. I could send the BF-110s with their bombs, but the problem is that it costs 2 for the bomb, 1 for the BF-110s. So it's 2 for 4 bombs, right? Yes. I can get 4 bombs for 2 OP. So the BF-110s can drop the bombs. So that would be 2, 3. It'd be 3 of my 8 points. And then I'd have, I lose 2 more, so that's 5. And then I'd be able to bring in 3 of my other guys to pursue. It's doable. We would drop 4 bombs. We'd probably only be able to target 1 element again. There's only 3 guys in 1 element, so it's not like this is an exciting amount of victory points, but it would get us our 1 victory point or 2 victory points we need to win the season. Or I could just send in all pilots. Now, what happens if I do that? Well, then you're trying to pick these guys off the hard, old-fashioned way without having anything to rock the cohesion. I can still send in my pilots and put bombs on them. They're not going to be as good against the escorts. If I put bombs on them, it's a different chart. So, oh, I got the wrong one, don't I? No, it's right here. So if it's a Ju-88 Me-410, they have the best odds with the bombs. But if it's another, which is a BF-109 or an FW-190, they have the worst odds. So it's even worse if I put bombs on them. The BF-110s are in the juicy middle. To be quite honest, with this game in particular, the Ju-88s are my favorite. Of all the auxiliaries, getting these Ju-88s, that's like the magic. And you'll see me just start to win whenever I start getting Ju-88s on the board. They are magical auxiliary units, that's for certain. I mean, I know when I play the video games, the Ju-88s are usually the ones you use to go up against naval ships, right? They're your naval bombers. But I know that they were used historically for regular bombing. It's just, I don't know why, but this particular game, they're pretty good. Okay, so what do we want to do? Do we want to, basically conservative this? Or do we want to try to bomb at least 1 element? You know what? I can get 4 bombs for 2 and 4 BF-110s for 1. So that's 3. I have a 2 penalty for 5. So then we can do Schmidt. We could do a 6, 7, 8. And somebody suggested sending my green guys. And the reason they suggested sending the green guys is because the green guys can take out the bombers and get their experience points they need to get out of being green. And if they don't go on this map and they just do the pursuit map or the vector map, it's an easy set of experience for them. It's not a bad idea. The thing is I have so many other pilots available to me at the moment that I don't necessarily need to do that. That's part of the problem. The other thing is if a green guy ever dies, they're gone forever. And then my pilot limit is gone. The reason they're green is because somebody already died once, and you're only allowed to replace them once. And so if the green guy dies and you can't replace him, then you're in trouble. That's why the Buttfargen one is a dangerous one every time I get him out. But I can get out Buttfargen, Schmidt, and Ifland, and these 3 are my experts. But, I think Aaron's just became an expert. Yep, Aaron's is an expert now too. So I have 1 more expert, but this would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the 2 penalty is 8. So one of these guys would have to sit out. So I can sit out errands. You know, if I want to send a green guy to try to get rid of his green skill, we got Zwiegert, who's erratic. Clyde has a blackout. Harry has disoriented, and Grzelowski is a rookie. I don't know. I mean, this is the kind of mission where maybe we want to do that. If escorts intercept us, this is 3 BV value, whereas the green guys are only 1 BV value. So if escorts intercept us on the vector map, that would ruin our day. That's another thing to consider. I have no control over whether they intercept us on the intercept map. But I could do that. Send some green guys, since this is sort of a weird mission. But the other part of it is why not keep sending the expert? Because you can get more and more expert skills. And so then they can have multiple luck skills. They can have the aim skill. They can have like all these skills that they can just combine together. I mean, then they become really super powerful. Like Ifland has luck and aim right now. Barr has quick and luck. If I can ever get him to get out of the wounded box. Yeah, we'll try this. We're going to do this. Should I do the... I'm hemming and hawing here. Let's try to get rid of our greed. Well, no. We're going to do this. We're going to keep making our guys stronger. And I'm going to take out Buttfargen because he's more risky. And let's keep giving experience to Aaron's because he's also an expert. So all 3 of those guys are experts. And they're coming along with some auxiliary staff. And now we're going to roll one final time to see what the escort situation is. A 4 is not good. Once I can find my sheet. So the escort situation, a 4 is an L5P, which means that they will show up on turn 5. Escorts arrive on turn 5. That's not the worst thing in the world. The P, of course, means it's the P-38s. Or the Thunderbolts. Again, not the worst thing in the world. Or P-47s, I mean. So I'm going to live with it. See what we can get. And I dropped one on the floor. I have no idea where it went. Mindy, did you get my piece? My dog's looking at me. She's like, this isn't a treat. What kind of crap is this? It's just cardboard. Okay. So the one that fell on the floor will be one of the ones that is out, and then we'll take this one. Okay. So as far as their formation, I rolled a 7, so it's always 2 here, 3 there. So that's the deal. This can go away. And now we can get out the... so it's map 2 outbound, which is page 11. And we're going to roll for damage. I rolled a 7, which is this situation. So we're going to hit 3 of the bombers. So the lead, and the tail. So here's the lead. Nope. The lead. Nope. And the tail. I'm going to go ahead and roll before I even see it. So we got a 7. And the tail damage is, well, there's no roll for this one. So there it is. Okay, so lead, and tail. I'm rolling for anchor. And if you can just trust me off map here, our off camera, it's coming in low. So it is, the anchor is tail low. All right, and then the sun is a 4. That's tail high, which that sort of works out. Although with this being anchored, it's going to get a +1 if you're coming in from the tail in certain spots. So the sun advantage is not going to be as good. How many tactical points are we getting? We rolled an 8, so we're going to get 4 tactical. And then the flight limit, I rolled an 8. We're going to get 10 turns. And I'm going to go ahead and bump that to 12, which is the maximum flight limit. The tactical points is going to get bumped to 6. And the escorts arrive at 5. So the escorts are going to be what ruins our day and mission here. We have plenty of turns. The tactical points are really good as well. And we are ready to begin. Fight! Sorry, got a little Brady Bunch there with the voice inflection. Okay, vector map is next. All right, we have 6 tactical points, so I can try to get cute if I want. I do get 2 more OP right now. So what am I going to do with 2 more OP? Well, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to get 3 cannons and assign those cannons to these guys. So that's one of the OP. And then the other one, I can just get something else. What's crazy is I can do something like this and get 4 BF-110s. Do I want to, though? I mean, you know, that's the thing is, yeah, I'm going to get a whole bunch of extra fighters, but then and then what I could also do is I can get an FW-190 like this. That is not a player FW-190. See, it's not a named pilot. This is an auxiliary FW-190, and his sole job is to go after those pesky escorts and get them off the map. I mean, it's a thing. You know, how effective is it? Well, it's got mixed bag results, but I mean, it is a possibility. I could do that. Or I can just get another one of my experts out, like Buttfargan. So that's what I'm going to do. Buttfargan's coming out, but he does not have a cannon. All right, so I don't see any advantage to going low here, except for it gives you an evasion. So if you get intercepted, you have a high evasion possibility. But look here, you have to spend TP to get out of that low box. It's a death trap. Then you're spending TP to go into the high box. You do get altitude advantage, but your evasion is actually worse up here. So you're spending TP to get in, and you have to keep spending TP to stay there. And there's really just no advantage other than just staying in the middle. I don't know. I mean, if you stay in the middle, there's other risks. I get it, but I don't know. It just seems like it's the only choice. All right, let's go. 10. A 10 is a weather, and we like the weather because that lets us bump up high. So we'll do that. But then we're just all moving to the same place anyways, so it doesn't really do much. A 5 is awful. We're getting intercepted. So a 5 is a G for garble, and we're getting intercepted. So the garble, each group places a delay marker or -1 TP. So I am not going to delay the BF-110. So I'm going to go ahead and take a TP loss for that one. And then for the other ones, I'm okay with a delay marker. So I will put a delay on the other 2. Delay and delay. And then now we have an escort coming. So I'm going to do even odd. Even, it's coming from the forward. It's coming from the below trailing. So there's the escort. And then which one does he go after? That's the part I always forget. I think we get to choose, right? Or does it go after the biggest group? I would swear we get to choose. I was correct. You get to choose. So I can choose to, since Buttfargan's in his own little group, I can just do that. Now, the one problem is if he gets shot down, he can't use his luck to avoid being shot down. That's the only problem. But that was the whole point of Buttvargen, was to be a distraction in case this happens. So I would be able to keep all my other cannon guys, and sure, that's what we're going to do. So first thing we get to do is see if we're going to evade. And I got to get a high roll, but I could possibly evade, and I don't. So now I have to see if I get an altitude advantage. And I rolled a 4, and I would have to spend 3 TP to get the altitude advantage. So I'm going to look at the chart real quick. We're on a BF 109, so we're already in this chart. We already have a... well, we do get to see how many there are. He's going to have more than us. We only had 1, so the answer was going to be an absolute no. So we're choosing between this row and this row, and how much is it worth it to fight to get into this row? We get killed on up to a 5. We get killed. Whereas if I can get that reduced, I only get killed if I roll a 1. So that's worth doing. So I'm going to spend 3 TP to reduce it some more. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and roll for the battle. I rolled a 4, which would have been a kill. We would have been killed. But instead, it's a dogfight outcome. And the dogfight outcome is different on the map. They don't say, so you always have to look it up. That's the only thing annoying about this vector map, is the results. The dogfight outcome, it's the same as breakaway, except after aerial combat, there's a possibility the escort marker will immediately initiate a second attack. After applying the effect of fighters, if the BV value did not exceed the total number. The escort marker initiates aerial combat again. It targets the largest group in the zone. But it automatically has altitude advantage. So this is where I get hurt. So yeah, it's a breakaway. But see, the BV value for this is only 2. Oh, but his value is 3 because he's an expert. So no worries. If this was a green guy, like our original strategy, he would only been worth 1. So then this guy would have stayed in the zone and then targeted our largest group, which is the bombers. So that would have been disastrous. But because he's an expert, his BV value is 3. That satisfies the 2 that's written there. So this guy goes away. Our Buttvargen goes home, but nobody's harmed. And that is a good thing. All right, so now we move to the final zone and see what kind of nonsense happens here. And let's quit rolling low. Okay, I rolled an 11, which should be decent. And somebody has to go home, and we get a straggler. So the somebody having to go home stinks, but it's probably going to be one of these guys. And I always send Schmidt home, but I'm going to send Aaron's home. Schmidt's going to stay. And then we get a straggler, and we're going to roll. And of course I roll an odd. I always roll odd. And the straggler is a wing 3. So who goes after him? Well, Ifland is pretty darn good. So yeah, we're going to send Ifland after him. And that's it. We have only one guy who's delayed by 1 turn, making it onto the map. And then, of course, the 4 bombers. So we'll get all these in place. Get this vector map out of the way. All right, so where are we going to go on turn 1? These bombers are doing their usual coming in low. It doesn't matter which side, I think. This guy is delayed by 1, so we'll go ahead and have him come in low as well. But obviously return. I'm putting in the return box because he's delayed by 1. He'll arrive next turn. Okay, so let's get out we're back on the other 1942 map. and I'm having trouble finding it. But here it is, 1943. So the wing is 3. Ifland is here. We have to decide how many tactical points we're going to do, but we get to roll first. Almost enough to destroy the bomber, but it wasn't. I have 2 tactical points. I'm going to spend both of them and get 2. And Ifland's going to come in high. Well, let's figure out the sun first. The sun is a 4. There's no sun. So we're going to come in nose high, determined. And here we go. Nose high, determined. We take a hit and we do a hit. We ignore everything else. Okay, so we would normally take a hit, but he has luck. So I'm going to cancel the hit with the luck. And we do a hit, but he also has aim, so we're going to do 2 hits. And he has a cannon, so we should be able to wreck the crap out of this thing. So here's the first one. We get to do cockpit or more wing damage, and that's a tough choice. The cockpit is a 50 or 60% chance. The wing damage, of course, gets us closer to dying there, and there's also a decent roll we can do there. I mean, the cockpit can end it right now. This requires us to wait another round. Well, this could also end it right now. Oh, that is a tough choice. Statistically speaking, from a die roll perspective, this is the better odds. But from a long-term perspective, if I fail my die roll, this is the better choice. So it's more about like, how pessimistic are you? I'm going to go for let's go for the roll. And there it is. I got it. And by the way, if I would have chosen the wing, I needed a 7 or better, so I would have missed with the wing. So this was enough to kill it. But remember, I still had another hit. So for the other hit, I'm just drawing for fun. There's your 4 wing damage right there. But look, even if I would have missed, this would have killed him, right? 4 plus 3 is 7. So we had him either way, but that's good. So Ifland gets 2 experience points. I mean, he's just racking it up. The staff gets 2. We get a victory point. And Ifland gets 2 more experience. He's up to 4. He's almost unlocking another skill. And yeah, he goes home. He's doing fantastic. I spent a lot of TP points I didn't need to spend, but that's okay. So we got 1 out of the 2 victory points we need to win the season. So we're almost already there. Okay, mission turn 1. This guy arrives. That one is still delayed. Delay marker goes away. Cohesion check. Remember, we're back to the other rules. So we have to have more tokens than the die roll. So nothing is going to happen there. No cohesion check occurs. There's no escort or anything like that to deal with. So now we go to mission turn 2. So with mission turn 2, these bombers are going to go tail high for free because they can do that. This one enters the fray. Nothing else happens. Mission turn 3. These bombers are going up to bomb. And then I can decide what I want to do with this guy. So do I want to go attack from the oblique? Or do I want to try to, attack some other way? And I'm going to try to attack some other way, but not this turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to tail high, and we're going to come in with the sun advantage and use that to attack. And if a bomber really does drop, we can also just pursue the bomber and not even bother doing the tail attack. So there's a lot of options. The escorts are coming. And so we're going to basically get an attack in right when the escorts are coming. And then we're going to have just 1 turn maybe to do stuff. Oh, by the way, on turn 1 during the recovery phase, I reduced the flight limit by 1 to get 4. And then on turn 2, I'm doing it again because my 4 bombers are in a box. So turn 1, they were here. Turn 2, they were there. Turn 3, they're at high bombing. I'm doing it again to get up to 12. There's no way I'm going to make it to turn 9 with the escorts coming on turn 5. So I have many flight limit turns to burn. So I maxed out my tactical points, and I may even use them to move around the map and all the stuff I normally don't do. Okay. So we were on turn 3. The thing I got to slow down for, we have to do blast and flak. So we're going to drop 4 bombs. And do we want to drop all 4 in the same location, or do I want to try to divide it between 2 areas? This is always the million-dollar question. And I think I want to drop all 4 in the same location because I don't have a lot of time to dink around. And we're going to drop them right here in that element because we're attacking from the tail. And there's some anchored tail here. So that's, you know, or we could attack from the nose. Let me think about that. I mean, this already has a damage marker, so I'm trying to take advantage of that. But yeah, we're going to stick with the plan. We're going to go there, 4 of them. Okay, remember I have to roll dice, and I'm just verifying again. I need a 5 through 10 for it to be a hit or a detonation. So I need a 5 to a 10. So I'm rolling for 4 bombs. So as long as I don't roll 1 to a 4, that's what we're looking for. So 1 hits, 1 doesn't. So I'm going to take 1 bomb away. Last 2. 1 hits, 1 doesn't. So 2 of the bombs were duds again, just like last time. All right, so now we got to do the explosions. So we're going to roll for the first bomb. I'm going to just set these aside. Okay, this is precarious, a 5 and a 4. The 4 means it missed. So it does detonate, but it detonates in a black 5 spot, which you can see there. If there's a rear bomber, it's a space far away. Now, as long as it's still in the element, it'll still be effective. And the problem is look, the rear bomber doesn't exist, and it's a space that's off the map, so it missed. So it becomes a dud. And that, my friends, is why this would have been better. Because the rear bomber would have been here, and it would have landed in this space, and that's where it would have detonated, is right there. Because the rear bomber would have been there. That's the space that you want to hit, and that's 1 more. So rear bomber is here. That's the space you want to hit. It was off the map. Okay? So this is our last chance. We only have 1 bomb left. And this is awful. I rolled a 1 and a 3. So this is going to be a swing and a miss. Although the 3 is this way. So we got to look at this guy here. Find that space, and it goes 1 space over. So here's that space, and it's 1 space over. So it does detonate, but where it detonates is in this element over here. It doesn't detonate in that element. So we completely missed this element. Okay, and then we do cohesion. And this is the only cohesion we would do is right here. There's 2 markers. Nothing happens. And then, of course, the detonation causes the element to go loose. So it at least gets a -1. So right now, this is the easier group to attack because all the lethality levels goes down by 1. So we dropped 4 bombs in 1 location, and not a single bomb hit that location. 1 veered away and hit a different one. So this is what I'm trying to talk about. They can be really erratic sometimes. All right, turn 4. So what do we want to do? We have 1 anchored tail, but otherwise, if I come in through the tail, it's pretty high threat. My BF-110s could try to come in from the nose. That's always an option. But you know what? I have the sun right there, so they're going to come in from the sun. So we're going to use the sun advantage. And then this one, is going to attack from the sun, because why not? Let's at least get the attack in. And I know it keeps getting bumped around from my camera, but that's anchored. All right, so cohesion check. This is the only place. Nothing happens. And now we do our attack. So this is a threat of 2 plus 1 is 3. This is a threat of 4, but everything's reduced by 1. So this becomes a 3, this becomes a 2. This becomes a 2. And those are my only 3 choices. So which one do I do? Well, I'm going to attack the one that's already hit. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to come evasive. And I'm doing evasive for many reasons. One, this is a conservative mission. 2, it guarantees that I can block a hit. And then, what is he? He's a Schmidt. So his skill, Schmidt's skill is, he's quick. So he can switch to evasive. Okay, he's going to go determined. Because he can switch to evasive if he wants, or he can switch to determined. I guess it doesn't matter. So let's just do evasive, and then he can switch to determined if it makes a difference. Okay. So we're coming in tail high. And what's he going to do? Is he climbing? Is he rolling? If he climbs, he's just going to a 2. Yeah, we're going to climb to the nose. All right, so tail high, threat level of 2, evasive. So you can see we're getting a hit either way. But the evasive lets me use the sun to block. And it was a crappy attack. The 1 would have been nice. I couldn't get that. The anchor is what ruined us. So, so the sun blocks the attack, so that part's good. But now we got to do continuing fire. And we have a 2. We're evasive. We're not diving, but we're fine because we're at a 2. So the big advantage there was this loose element saved us, because otherwise we would have been a 3. So, okay, so he was evasive. So he does an evasive return. Biggest issue there is we could get intercepted by those escorts. And I think that's it. So now the escorts are arriving. So boo, hiss. Let's do our move. All of our guys are going to come in for a tail attack with the sun. They're going to do probably do evasive. We do a return, which means this guy comes up. And now we do escort. So we're going to roll red for here, black for there. Okay, the red 6 is he's going nose level. So this guy's here. And what that means is as soon as I move here, he's attacking me. So I'm in trouble. That is not good for me. And then the 2 is he's moving to the forward station. So that guy is going to intercept me, and I don't like that at all. Nothing I can do either. I am toast over there. Okay, so then we go through to cohesion. And the only one worth rolling was this one. I actually rolled a 5, not a 7, but it doesn't matter. And then we go in, and we're going to go evasive with our guys. And I'm going to go after all 3 of them, and then double up on this one. Or, you know what, maybe I should triple. Yeah, I never know what to do in this situation. It's like if I put all 4 guys on there, I might be able to knock that bomber out. But then if I knock it out on the first guy, then the other 3 are just a waste. That's always the challenge, right? I'll do it that way. Let's see how this turns out. The sun is going to cause all of them to be able to cancel a hit. That's why they're all evasive. Plus they reduce their threat by 1 by being evasive. Here's the collision check for the guy on top. No impact. I'm doing very well with drawing those. Okay, so tail high for everybody. Which one am I going to do first? We're going to do these ones first. So we'll start with the guy on top, because that is a 3, no, it is a 2 threat because the element's loose. So tail high, 2, evasive is a hit, which the sun cancels. So nothing for him. Continuing fire is a nothing. Oh, I need to decide where they're going. They're definitely not going to the nose, right? The flank is not any good either. They're in trouble. But we'll go ahead and just roll this way, because that was a safe move. Was I diving? I didn't say. So what I can do is I can just draw another card, or I'll just roll a die. How about this? If it's even, then I'll take a dive. And of course, now I roll an even. So I get bounced. That's what's happening here. So somebody from the below trailing station is going to intercept him. So that goes there, and we're going to go ahead and do this, and I will pause because as you can hear, my phone's ringing. Okay, if I recall where we were at, this guy's being intercepted, and of course he's outnumbered. It was a nice low number too. Okay, so a BF 110, he was at what altitude? He was tail high. He actually has altitude advantage. So there's not, he was higher, yes, but no. So he's going to be in this row here. So he can get destroyed. And I rolled a 4, so he gets destroyed. The BF 110 does. So we're going to take a penalty. So this guy is in our penalty box. But the good news is I guess we got rid of one of the escorts. But that blows. We were trying to avoid that, right? But it is what it is. And that was actually him breaking away. So now we do the tail, high, and then the threat level is 2 minus 1. It's just a 1. Tail high 1, evasive. We hit. And the thing is, the out of the sun doesn't protect him from being intercepted. So I rolled a 1. So it was a miserable roll. We do put another damage on. And then continuing fire. He's in evasive. I did declare what they were doing, but now I forgot because I've been gone for so long. I know we weren't going to the nose. I knew we were going here. I think we were climbing, not diving. Actually, you know what? We were diving because I forgot. I rolled the die to decide what we were doing, and it was we were diving, and that's why I got intercepted by that guy. So we're diving. So we skip. It's okay. We would have been fine anyways, but I just wanted to make sure. So that would go into the evasive return box. So this guy didn't even come close to going down, and now we're here. We have a threat level of 3. So tail high 3, but we're evasive, so it hits. We're getting the hits in, but that's about all we're accomplishing here. It's an engine. Oh, there we go. So this guy actually falls. So we have a bomber that only has engine damage, and he's going onto the track. Now, what's interesting about this is if the escort wasn't at... If I didn't have this escort here, that would have been a perfect guy for him to go after. But we're going to get intercepted, and that's going to screw us over. So continuing fire, 3, nothing happens. So he goes to evasive. And then the last one, and let's not forget to put this in. And so I was going to give myself a experience point, a Staffel experience point, but we lose a Staffel because our guy got hit. We lost a BF 110, so I'm not going to bother. And then this last one, he's coming in and he has a 2. Tail high 2, evasive. Boy, that evasive strategy actually does get a few good hits here. All right, so we get a hit, and it's a wing. That would have been nice to roll a 10 right there, but we got 2 damage. Okay, and then we do continuing fire. And 2, he's dive rolling, but we're fine. And he goes to the evasive cup. All right, so we're done. Mission turn goes up. We do our move. There's nobody to move. So then we return. So we have to move here. There's nothing we can do. These guys all go here. Then the escorts go. And what happens is this escort immediately intercepts him. And then I roll for this over here, and I rolled an 8. So this guy moves to below trailing. And there's nothing I can do about this. Now, the one thing I can say is that the escort was level and we were high, so we're going to have altitude advantage on him. So that's the only thing I can really claim, and he's definitely going to be more than us. So let's resolve that. All right, so this is a BF 109. We were higher than them, yes, but no, so we're second row. So as long as I don't roll a 1, we're okay. Everything else, yeah, but 1 is the only thing that stinks, and we got a 5. So the 5 puts us in a dogfight. So fighters and escort marker go into what's called a dogfight. So what happens is we go to the dogfight box, and so does the escort, and it just means that we roll again next turn. Fighters may only enter this box. Fighters in this box remain until aerial combat is resolved. Convert a D to a B for aerial combat resolved in this box. So if I get another dogfight, I guess it turns into a B. The only thing about the dogfight is we no longer have elevation advantage when we're in a dogfight. So, so as predicted, he got sucked out of the mission. And we do a cohesion check. I rolled a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't help. So it just stays the way it is. And then we move to mission turn 7. These guys all become available. Escort. I rolled a 5. This guy goes to the nose level. I rolled a 10. This one goes to above trailing. So this is it. By next turn, we're probably going to get intercepted. And so especially if I stay as one group. So I have 3 BF 110s, and I can send all 3 of them to intercept that one bomber. And that's what I'm going to do. All 3 of these are just going to go. I mean, I guess I could stay and try to do something here. But I'm just running a really high risk that I'm going to get intercepted. So I'm going to just go ahead and try to intercept this bomber. And I can send 3 groups to do it. I have 1 million TP points, so it almost doesn't matter. And then we have to resolve the dogfight, and we're done with this nonsense. And one thing to remember, you get a -1 if you're out of ammo, you have a jam, if you have armor. Oh, you get a -1 with your cannon. So my 5 would have been a 4, but that's okay. The rockets give you a -1, and this also means bombs. So if you have a damage, you get a -1, and this is for each one. And so I probably have forgotten a few times to subtract 1. I don't know how much it would have impacted the overall outcome, because usually I either roll really miserable or not at all. But that's just something to keep in mind. This is something you have to do. And then of course the dogfight, it just explains here. So now we're in a situation where we don't have more than that. We're not higher than them. We don't have more than them, so now we got to roll the bottom row. And this 2 to 5 is bad, and we have a cannon. So I now have to roll a 7 or better to not get killed. And that's the problem with the dogfight. So dogfight sucks. And I rolled an 8. So that part, I got really lucky. That 8 turns into a 7 because of the cannon. And then the 7, actually a 7 would have been okay too. But we do a breakaway, and that just means that we live for another day. And I will take it, because this guy was named. That was Schmidt. So we would have lost an expert there. So very good that he was able to get home. We get all of our escorts out of the way, and let's call this a day. Those escorts, no matter what I do, there's no way to take them down. At some point when you start getting 20 OP, you can maybe buy a whole bunch of FW190 auxiliaries and use them to hunt escorts. But it's always a trade-off because, why not just buy more bombers? For the same price, you can just overload the map with bombers, and who cares if an escort takes out some of your bombers? You got other bombers that are going to keep going. And in this case, I am using bombers correctly because it's fighters with bombs, but yes. And I apologize, I get that confused all the time. All right, I want to mark this one because we know that we only have one. No, we don't. We may lose more. So, sorry, I was trying to jump ahead. We have one plane. I have 12 TP. He has an engine damage, which gives him 2 more. And then we have 3 of them coming in, all BF-110s. And I'll flip them over to evasive. So they have a threat of 0. Let's roll. I got a 7, so nothing happens. And we're doing nose high 3 times. So let's start with the first one. Nose high, evasive. We got to roll for sun. The sun is 2, so there's no sun. Okay, so nose high, evasive with a 0. We take a hit, we do a hit. So the hit we take is bad, but we do a hit. And it is 2 on the rudder. Okay. Next one. Nothing. Third one. Nothing. So these 2 are going to cost us TP. I have plenty. This one I need to roll a 6. I rolled a 10, so I survived. And then I have to pay another TP to get him out, and these 3 move over to here. All right. So now we got to decide what we're going to do. So obviously, level attack has 2 threat here. May not be good. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. We're going to do this, and we'll do it evasive, right? So 3 of them evasive level. So 1, 2, 3. And we'll do tail level. And it's a 2 evasive. So hit. And we got an engine. So we'll roll for the engine. I rolled a 1. Nothing happens. Next one. Tail, level, 2, evasive is a hit on us. So this one goes back. And this is a 2. We survived it with the skin of our chinny chin chin. And then we go to our last one. Tail, level, 2, evasive, 1 hit for each. So here's the hit on us. So 4, we survive it. Hit on them. We got an elevator of 3, which is a kill. So we're done. We don't even have to pay tactical points, but we had plenty. And these 3 guys live to fight another day, so that's good. So we got 1 more kill, and we're gonna have to take a penalty, which I already paid the experience point, but I still have to pay the OP. So let's do some accounting here and get her done. All right. So for the next mission, we have a -1 OP. Okay. We ended up getting a victory point, so we have 2, and we're sitting at 20 VP, right? And then we ended up getting 2 experience because we downed a bomber. And from a EP perspective, we had 27, we got 4, so we're at 31 now. I'm sort of glad I'm writing them over here to the right because this is getting ugly. So there we go. We ended mission 4. This 20 VP means we got a win. So I didn't write down the thing here, but maybe I'm gonna put a little star here. This is a win. So we got our first of 1 of 4. So we won 1 out of 4 times that we need to do to win the game. So we got 2 more missions that are low stress, which means I'm probably not going to worry about spending these because I don't think I'm going to score 20 victory points in just 2 missions. It's a little crazy, but we'll just do a couple more low stress. And this is probably the annoying phase of the game because a mission, as you can tell, I mean, this video is 56 minutes long to do what was considered to be a simple mission. Now, maybe if I shut up and I don't explain what I'm thinking or doing, I can, cut 15, 20 minutes off. But it's a long game, long campaign. But when you're playing solitaire, I mean, I don't mind long campaigns because, I'm killing time when I play this. But sometimes, I got other things to do. And I know some people own cats, which means they have to put their game away or the cats are going to ruin it. So all kinds of reasons. But anyways, thanks for watching. Stay awesome and stay healthy and safe.